Here I am with two people that I've met, and I'm sat in a wonderful camper van, which I'll show you the outside of it in a second. And this is Yasha and Jürgen. And the first question I've got to ask is, I mean, I've met lots of Australians on this tour, and I've met lots of Germans on this tour as well, but I've never met a German and an Australian travelling together. So
I'm actually Australian in the meantime too. Unfortunately, in a way, because the Germans took my passport away, so
oh dear.
I'm only Australian, which means we can't stay in the Schengen any longer than any other tourist can, 90 days in, 90 days out.
Really? So, I mean, if you don't mind me asking then, how long have you been together as a travelling duo?
Well, we've been together, married, almost 25 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
In August it'll be 25 years.
Yes.
And considering that I married him just so he could migrate to Australia, I think that's quite a record.
Well, you can't be more honest than that, can you? Right, well here I am, Saturday morning, and looking at the Menai Bridge and I've met this gentleman called... So Carl, can you tell us something about this bridge and
Right, well,
what goes on?
the stretch of water that you see over there is
Yes,
called the Swellies,
yes,
and on either end of the Swellies you have two bridges. The bridge to our right is the Britannia Bridge,
yes,
built by Stevenson, and the bridge to the left is the Menai Bridge, built by Telford.
yes,
The distance between the two bridges is about a mile.
right,
Now the Swellies is one of the most treacherous waterways certainly in Europe. If you look over in that direction towards the marker buoy on the rock,
yes,
what you'll see is some turbulent water in front of it, and that sort of denotes the amount of rocks that are underneath the Swellies. And you have about an 8-knot current going around these rocks. So basically underneath, even though on days it'll look calm, it's like a washing machine underneath. And if you're going to try and passage through it, you've only got a 20-minute window as the tide turns.
really,
Yeah. Nelson used to train his captains on the Swellies.
really,
Yeah.
wow,
And just on the other side of the Britannia Bridge over there, to
Yep.
the right on the
Yep.
shore, is a statue of Nelson.
ah,
Yeah. So it flows. It also, the Menai Straits has another phenomenon, which is they have two different tides,
yes,
and it's magnificent. To navigate the Swellies, it's not a straight run from one bridge to the other. You have to take markers.
yes,
So you have a marker, which is the second stanchion on the Britannia Bridge,
yes,
and then when you get adjacent to a particular marker on the other side, then you veer, and then when you get to another marker, you go another way. So the passage through the Swellies is like this.
that's amazing.
And if you're in a yacht with a long keel and you go off course, then the yacht will
Flounder.
flounder. Yeah,
So have you got experience of all this, Carl? Are you a sailor?
yeah, yeah,
Right, so you know this is how you know the score.
yeah. We moved down here. We bought a boat
Yes,
8 years ago. We moved down here. And
right,
we go sailing
Yeah.
round the island or along the coast or whatever.
very nice.
It's a beautiful part of the world, and on days like this, you could be anywhere in the world.
Oh,
It's
absolutely,
beautiful.
absolutely. Well, that's really interesting, Carl, and thank you very much indeed for all that information. I would never have known any of that. Saturday the 30th of June, 9:30 a.m. I actually started this walk at about 8 o'clock, but I've been talking to some very interesting people, including Carl, who I'm going to show you in a second, who's a sailor and he knows the Menai Straits like the back of his hand and describes the danger of the tides, which is a very interesting thing. So now I've parked the van at Benllech, which is further up the coast, just north of what they call Red Dwarf Bay, which I'll be walking through. And I've got a long walk today. I reckon it's going to be a 7 or 8 hour walk, to be honest with you, because I'm going to be keeping strictly to the coastal path, which takes you well off away from the main roads, and it's got to be done. And I'm sure there's going to be some more fantastic scenery in that, and I'm looking forward to it. I've got to be honest with you, I was a little bit wary of the dangers of coming on to Anglesey in terms of the logistics and the buses, but from my first day of being here, I don't think I'm going to have any problems at all. There's a great bus service, and all the routes and everything are well written. Timetables look perfect. The price is quite good, even though I can't use my bus pass. But I'm feeling much happier this morning than I was yesterday. I eventually made it to Beaumaris after making a couple of stupid errors, and the reason I'm making the errors is the signal on my iPhone is virtually non-existent. I've got the map, but the little cursor which points out where you are is missing. That's because there's only one bar on the signal, which illustrates what I was saying earlier on about the need for a paper map in a situation like this. And it's the first thing I'm going to do when I get back to the campsite is to buy a proper OS map and have it on paper, just in case there is no signal. I walked probably 2 miles further than I should have walked, which annoys myself, if you understand. I feel I should have done better. But this is certainly a busy place, and I know it's a Saturday in the season and there's an awful lot of people here. You can hear the traffic. There's nowhere to park, which is why I got out early this morning and parked up at like 7:30 so that the van will be there when I get back. It's going to become a massive problem, and I think making an early start is absolutely crucial. Well, I've been forced into changing my plan. I've just been onto the beach and the tide is right up. There's a really strong wind, I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 or maybe 4 6, and so I've had to come inland again. And so I'm going to have to reconsider this part of the walk. What I might do is walk up to Red Dwarf Bay and not go to the very far edge of the peninsula, which is close to the island, I forget its name now, Seal Island or something like that, and maybe come back in the van later on when the tide's gone out and do some film work then, depending on how I get on in terms of walking. And there's no point in going along the coastal path simply because it's dangerous. You can't walk along the beach because the tide's right in and it's blowing a gale. I'm not looking for trouble. Well, I have to say, having come off the coast because of the strong winds and the tide, it's making me see another side of this beautiful island. The villages are absolutely stunning. When I was back in the last village, forgotten the name, I'm sorry, and met Alan, there were the residents of the village all going around cleaning up the rubbish and picking up cigarette ends and any litter. Lots and lots of people who really care about the villages, and they do keep these villages in absolutely amazing condition. I've got to say also that this is a hard walk. I'm just walking up a hill now. It must be, I don't know, 1 in 3, and I don't know how far it's going to go. But I'll eventually get back to the coast if I go this way. But I'll be missing one of the parts that I wanted to video. But when you've seen one shot of the sea and one shot of the coast, and they all look pretty much the same, it does make a change to come off the coast. This is Sharon and Stuart, who I've met on the beach here, close to Red Wharf Bay, and I was walking away across the beach and they drew to my attention the fact that there's a river and a bit of quicksand and a bit of a danger involved, and I'm very grateful to these people. So you've obviously got experience of this then, Stuart. Have you found yourself in that situation before?
Well, many times, because you always try to take a shortcut and then find it bites you on the back.
Yes. Well, it's just after 5:30 and there's still some warmth in the sun, and this walk's been a long one. I knew it was going to be. I did say 7 hours when I read about how long it takes in some of these places, and knowing my expectations of myself, I knew it was going to be a very tough ask today. I still think I've got about maybe 2 or 3 miles to go, so that's going to be at least another hour. So bearing in mind I started at 7 o'clock this morning, it's going to be like a 12-hour job. And but I've been stopping, chatting with people, and I've had a good day. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It is definitely a long walk. There's absolutely no doubt about it. So I'm just watching where I'm walking. But tomorrow is Sunday. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, because that's when every man and his dog and his kids and all the rest of it are going to be out and about. I'm not going to be doing much tomorrow. I need to do some planning tonight. Hopefully the internet signal will be better than it was yesterday. I've got a basic plan, but I just need to dot the I's and cross the T's, and I'll be glad to get back to the van tonight and a couple of beers and off to bed.